Hey, what's up guys? Are you seeing everyone try out this new game, Honkai Star Rail, but aren't sure if you want to try it out yourself? Well, don't worry man, I got you covered. In this video, I'm going to tell you all about the basics of Honkai Star Rail and give you my first impressions after playing the game for about a week, and let me know if I think it's worth your time or not. With all that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into it. So you might be asking yourself, what exactly is Honkai Star Rail? Well, Honkai Star Rail is the newest gacha game from Hoyoverse. It's set in an alternate universe from Honkai Impact Third. It's a bit of a spin-off series if you want to think of it that way. I'll be honest, if it weren't for the obvious title and some of the familiar characters showed in the story, you really wouldn't be able to tell that this was a Honkai game at all. The gameplay is quite different. It's going from an arcadey beat-em-up style game to a turn-based RPG. It's like it kind of went in a bit of a 180 direction. And in addition to that, none of like the big characters from the original game are in the game. For now, because you know how this works. It's a gacha game, so surely this is all to create a buzz about them not being in at release, but then once their banner releases, all that hype generated helps that company bathe in that sweet gacha money. I would know, because I'm already huffing absurd amounts of copium praying for May to get in the game eventually. So, thankfully though, for now, we do have mine. We have another peak character in the game, but I'll get to that later.
Wait. A Honkai game without Kiana? Why? What is this even about?
Now hold up, I got you. I'm gonna do my best to quickly summarize the beginning of the plot of the game to get you an idea of how everything starts. Don't want to give too many spoilers for those who are trying to get into the game because it is relatively new. I'm just going to give you the start of the plot, and then we're going to go over the gameplay and the mechanics, and I'll let you know my thoughts at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and get to the start of the plot real quick. Alright, real quick, I'm going to summarize the start of the plot, basically tell you what gets the story going in the first place. Not going to go over too much afterwards because I don't really want to spoil you for the rest of the plot. The story starts on a space station. Here we're introduced to two of our first characters. One of them is Silverwolf. I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and say that Silverwolf is supposed to be a dimensional variant of Haxor Bunny Baronia from Honkai Impact Third. It's kind of weird because we already have a regular Baronia in the universe already, but we're not going to worry about that for now. Next character we meet is Kafka. They're there to steal this object called a Stellaron, which in short is a big ball of destructive energy that could cause disasters if it were to end up in the wrong hands. Anyways, they realize that the Astral Express crew, which are like the good guys of this game, are on their way to the space station, and they don't have the time to get out of there without being noticed. So, Kafka has the brilliant idea to place the Stellaron inside of the protagonist.
Whoa, hey.
And then, not soon after that, you faint. And then, after that, your adventure begins. Now, personally for me, I gotta mention here that this game is absolutely criminal for what they do to you in this intro. They introduce you to Peak. Peak's what you play through the tutorial with. Peak wakes you up, puts a bomb inside of you, and then Peak just leaves.
I must leave. Don't worry, someone will come and find you.
No, wait!
Just go with them.
No! No!
When you have a chance to make a choice, make one that you know you want.
No! God, he is a gacha character. That sucks. Wait, Kafka's actually be a limited character? And there you have it. That's a basic, bare bones intro to the start of the plot. If I were to get into anything else, really, we kind of get into spoiler territory in case you really care about all that. So I'll leave it to you to go ahead and experience the rest of the plot for yourself. But that's basically how this game gets started. But now we're going to get into what you probably all are here for. Let's talk about the gameplay. Like I said earlier, this game plays very different from the previous installments from the Honkai franchise. To put it bluntly, this is like the love child of Genshin and Honkai, but then that child went to kindergarten, became friends with SMT and Persona, but couldn't quite be like them, so they did it in their own way, and this kid thinks that life sims are pretty cringe.
What?
For starters, the UI design and the way you level up and ascend characters is much like Genshin, so if you're coming from that game, you'll feel right at home with that. The overworld gameplay is nothing like Genshin though, and it plays more like your average RPG. There's hub worlds and safe zones to walk around and explore. The main overworld gameplay doesn't require any jumping or climbing or anything. Nope, you're just running around, grabbing chests, fighting enemies, and solving puzzles. It's pretty straightforward. The leveling up characters and weapons involves giving them level up materials or also weapon XP materials. Duplicate characters you summon get you more of these Eidolons, I think they're called. It's just like the constellation system from Genshin. They buff your characters in different ways and give them more skill levels at certain constellations. These things over here are traces. You can level them up to enhance your character's skills, normal attacks, passives, ultimate abilities, so it's pretty straightforward. Over here, these are relics, so if you play Genshin, you might already know what you might be getting yourself into. It's very similar to the artifact equips in that game with multiple sets, different set bonuses, different substats and main stats to them to enhance your character's strength. I haven't gotten to the point in the game where I should really start farming those yet, so I apologize if I don't know too much. But just know these exist so you know what you'll be getting yourself into later in the game. And lastly, there is a stamina-like system in this game. You use this currency to basically do these things called calxes, I think they're called. It's a way to farm XP books, level up materials, and ascension materials as well with the cost of this energy. Make sure the relic domains later in the game also take this currency too, so make sure you keep that in mind. Every character in this game is categorized into this thing called a path, and a path is basically like a class. And these paths basically tell you the TLDR of what you can expect from your character, their basic abilities, what they can do in combat, and you want to really understand how these work so you can build effective teams around them. There's 7 of them in total, and rather than reading them all out for you guys with their full descriptions, I made this neat little chart that you can screenshot, share to your friends if you want a even shorter but sweeter description of what they can do. Now, in addition to all these paths, each character has their own element that they utilize as well. We've got your typical fire, ice, wind, electricity, but in addition to those, we have quantum, imaginary, and physical, which come over from Honkai Impact 3rd. Now, each element also has its own damage over time effect that gets inflicted when you damage enemies with these respective elements. Like, for example, bleed is physical, wind shear is wind, electricity, freezing for ice, stuff like that. Now, thankfully, this isn't like Pokemon or anything we gotta worry about what element is weak to what, or if any of my characters are weak to a certain element. No. All you really gotta worry about is what element your enemy is weak to, and the game does that pretty easily by letting you know beforehand. When you walk up to an enemy in the overworld, you look above them, it'll tell you what icon that your enemy is weak to. This gives you good time to pause the game, switch up your party, and come up with a strategy before engaging in combat. To sneak up on enemies and hit them before they notice you in the overworld, you'll get an advantage on them. The opposite is the same as well. If an enemy spots you and manages to hit you first, they get an advantage on you. This game does a pretty good job of giving you hints and dead giveaways to certain things, because let's be honest, most of the people playing this game aren't thinking with this, but thinking with this. So once you've gotten the drop on an enemy, you ambush him, this is where the real turn-based combat comes into play. I'll be honest, it reminds me a lot of Persona, but with less mechanics involved. Every character has a basic attack, a skill, and an ultimate. It's pretty straightforward. There aren't like crazy amounts of skills for each character, so you don't really have to worry about that. Now, every enemy also have these shields that can be broken with a specific element they're weak to. You break the shield, they'll take extra damage from it being broken, and they're down for a turn. You also have a chance to give them an affix from the element you hit them with. Now, unlike other RPGs, your character doesn't have a dedicated guard action, which means you should at least dedicate one slot of your party to a character who provides a shield for other party members, because there are enemies out there who target your homies with big attacks, and that's just no fun. Don't want to run shields? That's fine. I'm pretty sure you can get away with bringing a healer instead. That's the beauty of these kinds of games, though. You can find a strategy and party that works best for you. It's up to you at the end of the day, and with the new characters that are sure to come out in the later patches, team diversity is only going to get bigger, and honestly, I'm pretty excited to see what comes next. The developers also added some great features to the combat system as well. Like, one of them is a speed up button. You can play the fights at a faster speed to pick up the pace, or if you don't feel like putting too much effort into an insignificant battle, you can just turn on the auto battle and just let your characters fight for you. It's great for those who are trying to speed run to get those level up crystals, those pulls, and stuff like that as fast as possible. And up here in the corner, you can also see whose turn in your party is next or if an enemy turn is coming up, and you can plan ahead mid-battle. It's pretty neat. See, these stars here in the corner are like your skill points, or SP basically. You spend one to use your character's skill attack. If it's empty, you gotta spend a turn using a basic attack to generate more points again. Now, every time your character does any type of the attacks or takes damage, you'll slowly fill your burst meter. You can use your burst at literally any point in a fight. Like, even if it's an enemy's turn, you can use your burst right after they commit your action. So, for example, if an enemy's on a turn does a big AoE attack and your team just took a lot of damage, well, react quickly and press a heal ult from Natasha here, for example. You can full heal your whole party. So, you can really turn the tide with these ults, and it's important to learn when to use them at the most optimal time. Now, every character has their own burst animation, and I gotta say, Hoyoverse like never fails to deliver on their characters they make and their aesthetics, especially these animations. Like, check some of my favorites out. These are kind of cool.
Ever see a diamond this diamond? It's all yours.
Knockout!
Witness the stars shatter before you. Survive or be destroyed. There is no choice.
Check out this awesome move. 人間は星空を掌握する欲望をかきため、もちろん私もよ。Now, where are you hiding?
Alright, so in conclusion,
the game is fun. The journey requires the right ticket. And that ticket is
Kafka.
and honestly, now is the perfect time to jump into the game because the first limited character, Seely, is a great first summon for anyone's account, honestly. Too long didn't read for Seely. She's basically a cracked quantum DPS character with a Persona 5-like mechanic, perfectly capable of carrying your team to victory. And I say that because her ability to extend turns by knocking out enemies, she basically gets the one more mechanic from Persona, and it's pretty cracked. There's also some events that give you some free pulls whenever you log in for some consecutive days. It's pretty generous. Personally, I think the gameplay is pretty fun. The exploration and the little puzzles you get to solve when you're running around are pretty cool as well. I also enjoy the characters a lot so far. Though at the time of recording this video, I'm pretty unlucky with my summons. I've gotten mostly light cones and nowhere near as many characters as some of my friends have already. I mean, I've gotten mostly duplicates, but other than that, looks like my roster is going to be pretty limited for now, as you can see here on my account. The gimmick of my account basically is just I'm only using my gray standard summons I get, and I'm saving all my limited pulls and crystals for Kafka's banner whenever she releases, so if you want to see me struggle and watch the journey of a very limited account, you know who to watch. All I'm going to say though is the Kafka summoning session is going to go pretty crazy. I'll leave you with what I always say to the people who ask me if I recommend any free-to-play gacha game. It's free to play, download it, give it a try. If you like it, cool, keep playing and enjoying it. Maybe spend a little money if you really want to invest in it. If not, uninstall, try something else. It's a free game. I would highly recommend it though because it is quite fun. Now, let me know in the comments if you liked the video. Be sure to let me and others know what you think of the game if you've played it too. Subscribe only if you enjoyed the video, and feel free to check out my Twitch channel. The link's going to be in the description or on screen here if you want to watch me play games and chat with me more as well. I'm going to continue to play this game. Hopefully you can see how my progress with saving pulls goes. And all my other socials are linked below if you'd like to follow me anywhere else. Let me know also if I forgot some things. Surely I did. I'm only about level 20, so surely there's probably some stuff I missed. Hope you all have a great day, and peace out.
So smooth when you walked in, slow-mo hair flip, caught my eye from the jump. done from the jump. Got high socks and the blades don't quit. Good guy, girl, go ahead and fly on what you got. I know that you gotta leave, but I got just what you need. So please tell me what you want, what you want. Said that she was tired of the rap, so I can't